the United States says it has started withdrawing U.S. forces from Syria. The White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders has said in a statement that the troops are returning home as the country transitions to the next phase of its campaign in Syria. Sanders, however, added that American interests will be defended and efforts will be made to stop radical Islamists. President Donald Trump also tweeted that the U.S. has defeated ISIS in Syria. The only reason why the U.S. forces were in the countries present in the country, and which is why they are now being withdrawn. Let's get in further details now from our correspondent Nick Harper joining us from New York. Nick, first of all, tell us in greater detail what exactly the White House has stated.
Well, we're hearing that this will be a full and rapid withdrawal of troops from Syria. There are around 2,000, mainly based in the northeastern region of the country, and they have been there for several months, helping a coalition of fighters take on efforts to defeat the Islamic State in the area. We're hearing from Sarah Sanders that this is happening because the US has defeated the territorial caliphate. However, she is at pains to point out that this does not signal the end of the global coalition or the campaign, that they want to transition to the next phase of the campaign without stating exactly what that is, but also saying that the US stands ready to do all it can to reintegrate in that fight against the Islamic State. There will continue to be troops based in neighbouring Iraq, ready and able to take on the threat as needed. But there has definitely been a reduction of fighters from the Islamic State. They have been gradually reduced and degraded and defeated within parts of Syria. However, there are still some pockets of resistance that remain in the country. But the United States is saying that this is happening, and it is happening as soon as possible, very much along the lines of what Donald Trump has been saying over the last few months, signalling his intention that he wanted really as soon as possible to be able to remove those US troops from Syria.
Right, but Nick, doesn't Donald Trump's decision in a way reverse the official stated lines of both the Pentagon and the State Department?
Well, very much so, and it's interesting that this announcement is coming from the White House as opposed from the Pentagon or the State Department, that he is breaking this news, which seems to be in direct opposition from what his military leaders have been suggesting over the last few months. Just a couple of days ago, we heard from Brett McGurk. He's the presidential envoy who heads up the whole coalition for the United States in terms of its position in Syria in taking on ISIS. And Brett McGurk said that the US wanted to stay on the ground and make sure that stability can be maintained in the northeastern region. So very much going counter to those military officials who he has appointed to take on this fight against ISIS. The Pentagon hasn't commented so far exactly how this will happen, how quickly it will happen, but the White House at this stage saying it is happening. Trump signalling that it's his decision and it's something that he wants to do because he says the caliphate within Syria has been defeated.
That's a huge announcement coming in. We're going to leave it there for the moment, though. Nick, thanks very much for that quick roundup of what the White House has stated and the resultant implications. No time frame set, though, for that withdrawal of troops from Syria.